Hello and welcome to this last video, or at least in this series, for the Warlock versus the Crossbow Expert. This will be covering levels 17 to 20, in which the characters are basically almost godlike, and they are masters of the world. So, let's get into it. Before we go too far, I didn't get a chance to explain this, but I was trying to make a little thing here with some pixies, and this is what I come up with. These are pixies. I think it's got more to do with the band, perhaps. Anyway, I settled with fairies. So if you do like this content, please subscribe. Really helps me out. Don't click on that green button though, because that's not a button. It's just some art. Anyway, let's dive into it. So just so you know, this is not being critical of the Crossbow Expert or fighters in general, because I love martials. I do like fighters, and I'm not critical of warlocks because warlocks are a lot of fun. I get the attraction. They've got a great backstory. It's very interesting, and they can be quite powerful, and they have really successfully carved out their own niche in D&D. I think they are not just wizards with charisma. They have their own little things that they do, and that's really good. And they kind of sit somewhere between wizards and clerics in terms of, where are they arcane? Yes. Are they divine? Not really divine, but they can be celestial, or they can be, a little bit darker than that. Anyway, let's dive into the 17th level Crossbow Expert. And basically, at this level, they get an increase in their proficiency bonus, and that means that they get to use also Indomitable 3 times and Action Surge twice. So that's quite powerful. It's just an increase in numbers, which is a bit boring, but as I've mentioned before, proficiency bonuses, that's +1 to basically everything that you're kind of good at and trying to develop in this character, and then Action Surge just gives you an extra round basically. Unfortunately, the thing about Action Surge is it helps the spellcasters out more, so it's more useful to take a dip in fighter as a spellcaster, get that sweet armor proficiency and martial weapon proficiencies, and then use your Action Surge to be able to cast more spells. So you take your action normally, you cast your magic, then you take Action Surge, and you get to cast a whole new round, which to cast spells. So I really think that 1D&D, I noticed that they have what's called magic actions now. I'm not sure if that's going to continue as the rule books themselves develop, but I wouldn't be surprised that they don't change Action Surge like abilities to only include weapon actions or martial actions or something like that, and not magical actions, because the fighter class features shouldn't be improving on the spellcasters more and more interestingly than they do the martial fighter. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. What do you think? Have you heard any whispers in the grapevine about this sorts of stuff? Let me know. At this stage though, the Warlock with their Mystic Arcanum can cast True Polymorph and turn themselves or any other party member into an adult red dragon, or an Androsphinx, or a Death Knight, or a Dragon Turtle, or any number of quite powerful monsters. So this is the sort of level that the fighter has got to be able to compete with, and I think it's quite clear that the fighter can't. So that's quite interesting. So that leads me to this thing, and that is that At 18th level, or perhaps even 17th level, the crossbow fighter should ask the warlock to turn them into a red dragon. If that's not enough, you can continue along your own path of improving your crossbow skills. They get improved combat superiority, which means that as a battle master, of course, we've taken the battle master archetype. That their superiority dice turn into D12. So it's a little bit of a buff to this archetype. It might be an idea to look at the Crossbow Expert without the Battle Master, maybe the Champion or something. Perhaps another video could do that as I delve more deeply into martials in the future. The 18th level Warlock Eldritch Invocation, I thought Witch Sight, and we got some new spells, Sickening and Radiance. 19th level Crossbow Expert gets that +1 to Constitution, which brings it up to 20. What else are we going to do? Well, at this stage, it's nearly all over. So, and to be honest with you, how many of you have gone to this level? A lot of games that I've played sort of finish around level 16. There haven't been many that have gone beyond that. How about yourself? Have you ever played that? It did lead me to think of an interesting idea for a time traveling adventure where you could play different levels at different times and go backwards and forwards. Anyway, maybe I'll do an extra video series about that later. Would you, at this level, choose a different feat? I mean, that's the thing. There's lots of choices in the game. This just because I'm trying to push the Constitution up in this sort of pseudo arms race with the Warlock to get the most hit points, doesn't mean that you have to. Is there a feat that does something more interesting? Is it toughness? You know, if that's perhaps something I should have looked at as well. Let me know in the comments. So 19th level Warlock, I do the Constitution thing again. Their Constitution is now 20. The Warlock now has 193 hit points. The Fighter has 2013. So there's not a lot of difference between them. And when you factor in the fact that the Warlock is going to be using ranged attacks, that admittedly the Fighter will too, but the Warlock has double the range, 240 if you see my previous videos. At 20th level, we get an extra attack. That means they're attacking 4 times or 5 times if you take the bonus action. That's boring. I get it. The fighter's got to fight, but this is the capstone. This is the thing that we've been working all our lives as a crossbow expert towards. What's happening here? Not much, I think. Other classes are getting much more interesting ends to their journey. So I'd like to see any ideas, and perhaps the archetypes also need some sort of capstone as well. 20th level Warlock becomes Eldritch Master. That means that they can basically expend spell slots and regain them using their Pack Magic feature. And that makes them powerful, but I don't know. Have any of you used this and thought that it was a little underwhelming? I'd like to know your comments about the feats, because feats are something that there's so many options and there's so many ways to think different things working together. I think that although we all know about Polearm Master and Crossbow Expert, there are a whole lot more, and I think it'll be interesting to see what feats happens in 1 D&D, because they're going to be making them to be activated at certain levels. Do you think that martials are underpowered? I do, but I get it. Some people disagree with me. Some people say it's always been the way, I noticed in the comments. Or is it just been that they think it has always been? I didn't feel like marshals were underpowered in older editions, but maybe that's just my nostalgic memory playing tricks on me. Let me know. Have you liked this series? I hope you have. Actually, although I get it, I'm not a real professional YouTuber and my production skills are not good and my microphone's just a gamer's headset, and it's a bit embarrassing that even my son has a better microphone than me for his just to talk to his buddies playing D&D. But you know, have you liked this series? It is a lot of work. If you do like it, please let me know. And what other classes would you like to see this sort of breakdown happen in? I do have ideas for actually doing a single class and going through them, but I think comparing classes also adds another dimension to it, because you can see how it's doing compared to other builds. I'll put links to these characters in the description somehow. Just, you know, what they look like, the characters that I used to make this video. I do put a lot of stuff in the description that I often don't talk about because it's after I've made the videos. So for example, the one of the species videos, I actually created a new species which was Luminos, and just check that out. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this video. You could also buy me a coffee if you like. I don't normally do this, and I've really got to rethink this, perhaps make something that is Spicy Dungeoneer in particular. I have used this buy me a coffee for my books and things that I write, but it is a good way that I can give out files and things like that for free. You don't actually have to spend any money if you don't want to. There's a whole heap of free stuff. Most of it is all about my books and things that I've been writing, but I think I might start putting more Dungeons and Dragons stuff in there as well. Please like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I get it. Well, I turn on notifications myself, and it can be a bit distracting, but it really does help the video. And share with your friends if you've liked this video too, please, because we've got to get it out there. But bye for now, and just remember though that out of all of this, out of the whole 20th level journey, the Warlock I feel was more powerful, but in the end they're going to be spending eternity in a very bad place because of the agreements that they came to make with their devilish friends. So that's interesting. Pity that there's no extra details about that. Maybe that might make the class a little bit less interesting or popular if there was more emphasis on the fact that you're going to be spending a lot of time in some sort of underworld scenario. But what do you think? I hope you've liked this video. It's been really interesting to make. I actually have learned a bit. I read all of the comments that have been made. I've actually made a quiz. If you go to the community and the YouTube channel, you can vote on what your favorite kind of class group is. It's not a quiz, sorry, it's a poll. I will be making a quiz later though. And bye for now. See ya.